Good afternoon, Reverend Donna.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, good. I'm glad you text me because I was having problems with my Zoom, so I ended up switching
Okay.
to something that was easier to see. So I just started a new one.
Okay.
So I'm glad you could join me. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, good, good. What did you want to cover today?
Yeah, you made me a mail. You thought I had already sent my number two verbatim. So
That's why I said, oops, that was number one.
that's okay. But it will come later today.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, there's not much. Only you said I should keep an eye on the level 2 projects, and I will just want a few heads up on, because I've not actually set my mind on. I don't know. You can direct me on a few things, what to really look out for.
Okay.
Probably, is it in terms of my goals or what? How is it?
Yes, it can be in terms of your goals.
Mm.
That's a great way to start, to look at your goals and say, hey, I have a goal around this area. It can be also a result of assessment you've done where you are, and you have assessed a particular need that you'd like to respond to, and you create an intervention and try it.
Mm.
So you have some flexibility. Did you have anything in mind yet that was sort of
I told you that I've taken every moment of this unit as a teaching moment, especially in terms of deepening the concepts. And you've taken me, through some of the theories, and and I might want to also know more, because I think it was during the verbatim you pointed out that the trauma-informed approach. These are things that I'm not too very grounded on.
Okay.
But you bring a lot of, teaching in some of these. If you can point out a few, what's really about trauma-informed approach.
Okay.
If I get to know it, perhaps I can build something around it, or it could also be in a project. I can research or get something out of the trauma-informed approach. Perhaps, I don't know. It's just my
Okay.
thinking. So, but I know you've been really, really bringing out good stuff for me. So,
Okay. So, am I hearing you correctly? You have some interest around trauma-informed care, and maybe your project might be around that, or you want to talk
yeah,
about it?
if I really get to, like the way you simplified the family systems theory, things like that. So if
Okay.
I can get, some pointers, what is it really geared toward? And it might elicit my interest.
Okay. So I want to direct you back to the first mental health didactic. I did not go through all the slides, but there are about 5 or 6 slides in there where I describe 4 or 5 different types of trauma-informed care. And it's enough details for you to get a sense of what each one entails and whether or not that's something you'd like to explore. It's a good, simple introduction. And if you have any issue finding it, just send me an email saying, hey, I can't find that didactic, and I'll dig it out and
Yeah,
get
I think is it the one you just sent us?
it was back during orientation. You got
Yeah.
it during
Oh,
orientation. Okay.
I'll look at it.
Okay.
That's fine.
And that would be a good start to sort
Mm.
of see if it strikes you. So I think that's interesting because that's one of the themes of the unit. So that could be a great project might come to mind for you. How are things going at your site?
Yeah, and I asked my supervisor if he called because I gave you his number.
Yes.
I don't.
Father,
Father
may,
Amos. Father
yes, Father
Amos.
Amos. Yes, we have communicated.
Okay, that's okay. So that's fine. So I
We hope.
think that's about that. I think let me dig, and I'll give you information, and if there are some other confusion, but I like the way you beam the lights on some of these areas.
Okay.
I'm interested.
What is going very well at your site right now?
Yeah, for me personally, I formerly I used to feel the butterflies, in my stomach before making any visits. But now, the confidence, I can just walk in.
Okay. No butterflies at all?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can now walk in, okay, and strike up.
That's awesome. How does that feel to say that?
No, I think it's interesting, but I also want to point it out. Can a chaplain, loosen up? Because the other day I was laughing. Some man was cracking me up. He was making so much jokes. He was due for a procedure, so they had, asked him, he was starving. He said, come, I'm so hungry, my body's shaking. I laughed. So I don't know, is it out of place for a chaplain to really, really loosen up?
How did it feel to do that?
At,
I
at the
mean, you're
point,
just thinking about it and laughing.
at the point I was embarrassed. I said, come, you're the chaplain here, you should. Oh, and he wouldn't stop. Oh, the, he was really hungry, you know. So,
Mhm.
and I walked in, and somehow we struck it, and the whole place was lit up.
Ah, how did he respond to you? You're laughing with him.
He didn't want us to stop the conversation, but I had to because it was, he was alone in the room
Mm-hmm.
and he was expecting them to come at any point and so that let him go and have this procedure and because he was
Right.
really hungry.
Sounds like it was wonderful. You came right alongside him, right where he was. Yeah.
So, but is it okay to,
Well,
didn't I?
I think that's a great question. What do you think?
I don't know. God, I'm like, I got it wrong. You should just be the chaplain walking, have some back conversation
Mm-hmm.
and everything is just, But I
Right.
was as if I was talking to a friend I knew, and he accepted me, and it was interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. What has you wondering about whether or not it's okay?
Decorum and everything. So, and
Mm,
you are my educator, more experienced, you could say, oh, this is not done, this is done. Talking about boundaries and all that,
right.
dynamics and
Yeah.
everything.
From the joy you have right now, that is just lifting my spirit, I can imagine you brought that joy and laughter to him, and sounds like it lifted his spirit, his hungry spirit.
I made a joke. I told him as a kid, if the meal is coming late, I'll take ill. I'll fall sick. He laughed. He now said, oh, my body is really shaking now.
Yeah. Talk
Well,
about being a non-ancient presence. That sounds like that's what you were.
well, that's okay.
Yeah. What did you assess his spiritual need to be?
Yeah, at the end, it was also written in the census. He's a non, he doesn't identify with any faith, but
Mm-hmm.
that encounter we had was at the end, he said, can you pray for me?
Okay.
He was very open. I think it's all thanks to him. And we just really engaged, and at the end, we prayed.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. I think it sounded wonderful. Yeah. And this is one of the times you walked in the room with no butterflies?
Sure, sure. No,
Wow.
because I was answering the question you asked, and it was really how. So that's my assessment. I think I'm
Yeah.
flowing now.
That is awesome. So when you walked out, did you have butterflies?
I looked around and, you know, to make sure I wasn't disturbing the. We laughed out loud.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
laughing.
I love that. Your awareness of your environment. You were being attentive to your professionalism. You already said there was nobody else in the room. He was laughing with you, and you came alongside him and laughed with him and continued the laughter. And then he invited you to prayer. Pray for him. That's pretty powerful. I don't know what's missing. What is missing in that spiritual care experience?
And especially for somebody who doesn't identify with the faith, and
Mm,
he,
yeah.
he I think for him, I an angel walked in. He needed the house, yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah. It sounds like it did. It sounds like it was just what he needed. Good. I'm so glad you were there for him to laugh with him
Mhm.
and vulnerable enough to share a personal experience with him. How did it feel to remember being sick with your mom when you were hungry and laugh?
Then I stopped. It's interesting how this life, replays, you can now and again teleport or transport yourself back into, the past and bring it into the present and perhaps project it in the future. Life is, cyclic for some people, yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and those experiences are, it helped me understand where he was coming from when he said his body was shaking. Yeah.
yeah. I love that you were able to identify
Mhm.
and share. Is there anything in your tradition that in your spiritual orientation that talks about laughter?
Oh, laughter is a beauty, that comes from the soul,
Mm,
because it also breaks down uh, barriers. Mhm.
yeah.
We at that point there was we synchronized. We met at some point
Mm-hmm.
in that encounter, and I think it served the purpose, if you ask me.
Yes. Oh, that is beautiful. I never thought about it as you synchronize, but yeah, almost the way in which when we sing together. You laughed audibly together. He was no longer alone. He had someone journeying with him.
I bet you, yeah.
And I love your image. An angel walked in the room. That's pretty powerful.
And talking about it again, I've never been in a hospital environment, you know, and thanks to God, you know, not sickly also. So this CPE has really given me an insight into a whole new world, a whole new world of
Yes.
mm, think I'm grateful.
Yeah. I see your joy. I experience you in group being so attentive and careful and giving feedback. Uh, I think it is appreciated all the way around. How are you feeling about group?
Yeah, that our bunch is I think was special. Yeah. And by the day, we keep inching closer and closer to one another.
Mm,
And you could see the experience. One of us is highly intellectual, the other two come from very rich wealth of experience, pastoral and personal life. I think I don't know what I bring along, but I benefit so much from. I want to listen to them. I want to hear them. So it's for them to assess whether I bring anything to the table, though. So, but then yourself is a very wonderful group, and I know that as the days go by, the best of us will keep coming out.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yes. What do you see your role as?
Well, I will leave that for other people to assess me, but I always want to be present, yes. So,
Mm,
and they now will assess the quality of my presence or what I bring along, if any, but I want to be there and I am already benefiting from them.
oh
So
wow.
when they bring in, insights, when they talk, when they, so there's no dull moment. Yeah.
Mm. No doubt. I love that. Okay. Well, I'm glad to see this side of you. The humor is wonderful. And like I said, I feel the energy. So across this device, I'm not even in your physical presence, So I can feel your presence and know that that shows up in group too. So your goal to be present, I'm experiencing that. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah. How are you feeling right now?
Mhm. Well, I can say it in one word, but there's a certain relief, company, uh, you know, in our priestly world, is a very lonely world. It can be. So our work is an accompaniment, and when we encounter people, is also a plus. So I look forward to also this individual supervision, the group classes, and all the things we do together, especially within this CPE is occupying me for close to the next 2 years now. So, and
Mhm.
without it, I don't know what life would have been in a new world, a new culture, everything. So I think I'm enjoying it.
And a new language too. The whole spiritual care is a whole new language.
Sure, sure, sure.
And you're taking all that on. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. I also hear you say it's stretching you.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you attend to the loneliness that is the life of a priest?
Yeah, that loneliness, we've been taught over the years through our training that you shouldn't make it a void.
Mm.
It should be loneliness that is filled with, um, what does the scripture say? A man that cleans the space and without filling it with anything, says that the devil that was cast out from that space will crawl around without finding anywhere to stay. It will come back to that place, and if it finds it empty, he'll go back and bring 7 more demons, and
Oh,
they'll
wow.
that space. So, um, in physics, nature abhors vacuum. So we're always told to fill the moments with positive engagement, good thoughts, good company, good action. You'll be busy. So, like my assignment now, I'm busy. My clinic, I'm busy. My study, you're busy with something, and these are positives. You're still building. I'm getting to the other, I'll be 55 and I'm aging, but I'm still not thinking of retiring now. I'm still building myself, building my community, building my vocation, everything. So I am busy. That's the point. So I'm not
Yeah.
idle, you know, idle in with hands folded. The idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Mm.
So I'm busy, so and I enjoy the engagement.
And you're enjoying your life?
Definitely, definitely. And thanks to meeting people like you, my cohort, and coming into CP generally. I told you I'm just 1 year old in the US and
Yes.
been engaging. Yes. So without it, there would have been this void
Mm.
that one would dread.
Right.
But something is filling it up, and is amazing.
Mm. Wow. That's beautiful description. This is a tough time in some respects to be here in these United States. And how have you been navigating all of that?
We listen to the news, we hear stories, we read. Many of our people don't attend church anymore. They don't come to the mall. They don't go to school. They are practically hiding, especially
Yeah.
in sanctuary states and all that. So it's not just the African immigrants, also the um, Hispanics and all that. So they make a huge number. Our largest mass on Sunday is the Spanish mass.
Mm.
You won't find any parking space. But since 2 weeks, you know, the
Wow.
number is, you could just see it's thinning down. So everybody is apprehensive. And there are stories, people who want to go back to Nigeria, maybe funerals, some functions. They are even citizens, even those with green card. Some their stories, I don't know whether they are rumor, whether real or unfounded, I don't know. So that people have been stopped, even when they are legit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's treading with caution. So there's apprehension in the air. So, you know.
I wonder if there's a project in that.
And we're priests, so they will always ask, "Oh, Father, pray for me." Oh, families. So you feel what they feel. When we're talking about empathy, you
Yeah.
feel you can't, even though we've not been directly challenged, but when your people are challenged in such a manner, it will get to you. So that's, the general feeling.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for sharing that. That is a part of an ever-present, sometimes unspoken atmosphere we're in right now. And I see it at the hospital too, when our patient census is down. Yeah, people are not coming out so freely.
But would they come to hospitals to?
Yeah, yeah. And they don't have to be inside, they can be just outside.
Mm,
Yeah.
well,
What's coming up for you?
yeah, and it's really depressing to get that picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I can see your whole energy has changed. Yeah.
But a place like a hospital should be a sacred space.
Mm.
It should be off limits.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what. Hmm.
Yeah. Churches should be off limits too, and mosques and temples and places of worship and prayer. They should all be off limits too. It makes that moment you shared of laughter and joy that much more precious. Like, wow, that you had that moment of journey with that care receiver. He's probably still talking about you.
For me, it's stuck. Let's hope it's
Right. Yeah. And that's one of those things you described as a positive thing. Think on these things. Yeah. Well, we've checked in around group and we've checked in around your placement and a recent experience. You're going to keep thinking through your project, which I'm glad to hear. And are you feeling in a good place with how your outcomes are coming along?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the group conversations and the didactics are really, fleshing it up,
Good.
clarifying gray areas and pointing out growth opportunities.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. I do know it seems like that Zoom link might not be working. So give yourself a little more time tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it, but I'm going to send everyone an email and a text when I figure out what's happening. I don't know. I did something. It's me. Zoom is fine. It's something I did that made that other link not work. So do look out for that when we gather tomorrow. So I had wondered if there was anything in your verbatim that you presented that you might want to revisit.
No, I think I try to. I think he's okay.
Okay, good. All right, excellent. Very good. Well, I'm happy to give you the joy of 11 minutes.
Thank you.
If you would like that, all right, then I will see you tomorrow morning. Look out for my text and email so we know where we're going to be.
It's okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Have a
you. Have
beautiful
a
day.
good day.